Hey, this is Chris Bigger, Superintendent of Schools. The podcast is designed to support our One Trojan community and a quest for all of our schools to be schools of distinction, not just a few of them, by 2030. The podcast is an educational exchange in strategies and ideas to accelerate our path forward. And today I have with us Jonathan Michael. Jonathan's been with the school district for quite a while, so welcome, Jonathan, to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been in the district in your current role.
Absolutely. So I've been in the district for 18 years, teaching business, computer science at the high school level for 14 of them, and now in this role as a digital learning specialist for 4 years.
All right, digital learning specialist. So tell everybody what that is.
Exactly. So a lot of people just think of that as instructional technology specialist.
The old tech integrator role.
Absolutely. But we try to do a little bit more than that, just finding ways to find the technologies that are impactful and ways that we can use that for instructional purposes throughout the district.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen you present at a local business function about AI, artificial intelligence. So why don't you tell us a little bit about artificial intelligence in schools, a little bit?
Sure. It's a pretty hot topic right now, just worldwide, especially then in education, just because of the impact it can have. And I think sometimes when we hear artificial intelligence, which is just computer simulating human thinking, creativity, and all of that, we get scared because we're not totally sure. And we all are, I think, at some point, because it is so new. And one thing that we just want to be aware of, too, is there is a difference. We have general AI and we have generative AI. And in the world, we've been hearing about generative AI, I think the most, with ChatGPT and Gemini and such. But a lot of us have been using general AI for many years. When you think of it in terms of, say, your streaming services, when you're getting like those recommended videos just because you watch something, that's AI. Or your navigation apps, when you're driving down the road, you get an alternative route, that's AI as well. And so those things are a little bit more simple and easier for us to grasp. It's this new generative AI.
So general is informational, generative is creation.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So just understanding that difference too.
That's an interesting separation. Yeah. How do you see teachers using AI and or students right now?
Sure. So right now it is a little bit newer. Some are just grasping it, and I think it's more for, especially our teachers right now, it's more for productivity, ease of use, maybe for communications, creating newsletters, really helping to lesson plan or just a thought partner for brainstorming ideas. So we're really seeing that a good bit. But for our students, it's more of a cautious approach, I think, right now for our student use. Yeah. But there are some tools that, again, when we think of AI, there's some tools out there they've been using that we don't necessarily think are AI, but have been really impactful for them. So some of those tools out there, you think of maybe accessibility or learning support. So some of the tools they have access to are translation tools that we can automatically translate an article or something that's given to them. Releveling of text. So if they're giving a reading passage, they can automatically just relevel that to help them out. Even as far as there's some tools out there that we have in our software, they can just hover over a picture and they can get a full explanation of what that picture is. And so that's AI.
Very interactive.
Exactly. Exactly.
How would you tell parents to guide their children? What should they be using? What should they not be using right now?
Sure, and that is the crux of the conversation, really, is just looking at the different platforms that are out there and really diving into those privacy policies. That's what we do as part of our role in the district, is understanding what are they getting access to for their information. And so really on a personal level for parents is just maybe just being cautious, try some of these platforms out themselves, but reading those out. A lot of the
so you want them to read what's shared.
Correct. Correct. Because a lot of the platforms outside of an educational use, such as Gemini or ChatGPT, they don't want users to be using them outside of being 18 or above. And so just being cautious of that. But there are some simplistic platforms, even like a Canva. If you ever use that for the content creator, they have some great image tools that you can just type in to create new images. And those are a little bit more COPA, FERPA, which we talk about for online privacy protection. Compliant. Gotcha. So those are some tools.
Can students use Gemini right now, since we're a Google school district, with their Google account, or no?
So that has been a big move. So it's hard for us to keep up at this point. Things are changing. And so as of the end of last school year, they recommended those tools only for 18 and above. However, they have made some strides. And so Gemini, they do have some options for Gemini and NotebookLM, which is another Google tool, that they're actually bringing down to 13 and even under 13 for use, again, within an educational setting. because they've set up those guardrails for the educational
They'll be compliant with access to the appropriate information and make sure it's really scaled down.
Absolutely. And for right now, just to be clear, we don't have those turned on right now for our students, just because we're taking that cautious approach. So
Well, and that leads into what are some guidelines that you would want school districts to follow or us to follow moving forward?
Sure. So I think the big guideline right now is just getting a team together, just to kind of have oversight of the AI use. And I know right now in our district we do have that policy in place for the AI policy to help guide us, guide our teachers, guide our students. And we're in the midst of forming a committee of sorts or a task force for our AI oversight and governance. So really just building that together, just so we can have those conversations of the trends and especially how quickly everything's changing.
Right. So. And students are using AI outside of school on their own. Like there's things like No Red Ink, and there's all kinds of platforms out there where I'm not going to say catching them using it, but just be honest if you use AI or not, and how much and to what degree.
Exactly. There was just a recent study that came out at the beginning of October from Common Sense Media saying that teen usage is around 70% that have used generative AI.
Wow.
At this point. And so just understanding that our teens are using it. So how can we really help them and guide them in that usage too?
Well, it's exciting that we're getting into this arena, certainly trying to figure it out, but not rushing to be the first.
Exactly.
It's not one to pioneer, right?
Exactly. We want to be abundantly cautious, for sure.
What are you excited about that AI educationally can bring to the table, and what are you most worried about?
Sure. So I think the excitement is just what we talked about, some of those accessibility and learning support tools, and just really giving agency back to our students of saying, you know what, I can re-level this to understand this better. I can translate this to understand what's going on. Even just accessibility, where we talk about like the read louds for the screen, speech to text. I even saw on one of our platforms they're helping students with dyslexia with changing the fonts that are more better for them to be able to read, even the contrast of the colors.
So more personalized for everybody.
Exactly.
What do I need?
So the personalized learning is really going to change with AI at this point, and helping teachers being able to do that a little bit better as well in the classroom.
And then what worries you the most?
What worries me, I think, is just how quickly things are changing. We were just teaching some tools about a month ago, and we were teaching that again just this last week, and everything changed so much, and so just keeping up, but also just worrying about everyone being aware of the privacy issue and just really being cognizant of taking that step.
And I think for me, just keeping school authentic.
Exactly.
We can use AI. We certainly know when to use it, not use it, but the rest of the school is still authentic.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest point too, is just like any technology, we don't want to use it just for technology's sake.
Right.
We want to find the impactful use of it. So finding that impactful use of AI, not just saying, hey, let's just go and use it, but how can it actually impact the education and learning.
If AI learns for you and you don't learn anything, it's not going to help you in your future. So what are you actually learning with the help of use of it?
Exactly.
Well, exciting. So we'll certainly continue in the podcast and have you on in the future as we develop certainly our AI policies and our usage in the classroom and schools.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jonathan, for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.